Well, good morning to my friends on YouTube. You joined me this morning in Kampala. The time is about 7:15 in the morning. I've ridden in from Entebbe. I left home at about 6:30 this morning, and I'm in search of a Rolex today. I hope you can come along for the ride. On today's journey, I came in from the southwest. I'm riding right through the centre of Kampala, and I'm going to be heading northeast this morning. And if you know Kampala like I'm learning, then you'll know that it's great to get past these hotspots like Ginger Road Junction here is always much better at this time of the day. So we're heading up now towards the Gayaza Road Junction of the Northern Bypass, and then of course from there we'll go north towards the town of Gayaza. Come on guys, there's no need to mount the pavement when it's such a quiet morning like this. You see, it doesn't make sense. Now you're waiting for me. Of course, I'll always try and be a good example. So I'm just coming up to the junction of Chira Road, and there are two major landmarks here. On the right there is Malago Hospital, and then just a little bit further past that is the megachurch of the Prophet Kakande. There's an interesting story about Malago Hospital in that it's built on a hill, and Malago Hill used to be a place for growing natural herbs for healing. Even in the 21st century, there is a craft here for natural healing. I'm not sure what craft it is, or should I say, witchcraft it is. But anyway, on the right here we have Malago Hospital, a place of physical healing, and just a bit further down the road, the megachurch of Kakande Ministries, a place of spiritual healing. It's certainly all here in Uganda. Turning right now onto Gayaza Road. I'm going to travel up this road now until I reach the Northern Bypass. At the end of this road is the very famous Gayaza Road Market. Again, I've managed to get through this area with ease. It's a Sunday morning, so it's not going to get busy here until about 10 o'clock. I'm enjoying a bit of banter going on between the boda riders, and then the lights turn green and we're off. Here is the junction with the Northern Bypass. We're going to pass straight under and continue on the Gayaza Road. So I rode this route a couple of months ago, and I have to admit Gayaza Road isn't one of my favourites. It's kind of confusing. It's a lovely wide open tarmac road, but every 100 metres or so there is a speed hump or a rumble strip, and it would seem to take forever to get past all of those things and get to Gayaza. And of course the opportunity from cars and vehicles coming from the other way that are overtaking because the road is so wide, makes it quite a dangerous road as well, so you really have to keep your eyes open. And I don't know if you noticed, there are a lot of people sweeping the side of the road this morning. So here's an interesting thing about Kampala. Back in 1950, and in the last days of colonial rule, Kampala wasn't actually the capital city, and it only had a population of 95,000. Since 1963, however, the day of independence, it was decided that Entebbe should no longer be the capital city, and Kampala was then made the capital city of Uganda. And ever since then we've seen a growth in the population from 95,000 to, I think the latest figures are something like 4 million people living in Kampala. Now when I ride up Gayaza Road, I can only imagine that Gayaza years ago was actually a separate village or a separate town. There is no longer any countryside between Gayaza and Kampala, and it's as though it's just become a suburb of the larger Kampala itself. And I know for a fact that back in my home country in UK, the major towns and surrounding villages have suffered the same fate. Anyway, back to the journey. We're heading to Gayaza. The sun is rising in the east. There are a few clouds in the sky, and believe me, there are some brilliant views off to my right now. Here we're passing a mosque, and the sun catching it was just fantastic. Fast forward slightly, and now we're entering Gayaza. Gayaza is about 12 kilometers out from the point of the northern bypass. A local trader off to my left is selling sugarcane. And the other thing I notice, apart from the busyness of the traffic, is that Gayaza seems to have 2 Shell petrol stations within about 20 meters of each other. I don't know what that's all about. And the guys on the boda just passing me now are delivering milk in a very traditional way. I'm past Gayaza now, and you'll notice that the countryside is beginning to show its face. The dust is gone. The sun is still shining, and now these are the kind of roads that I really enjoy riding. Just a few rumble strips and speed humps in the small trading areas along the way, but generally speaking we're really in the countryside now. Time to open the throttle, within the speed limits of course, and we're heading off for the next 20 kilometers to a village called Kalagi. I haven't forgotten of course that we're in search of this very famous Uganda Rolex. So, welcome to the town of Kalagi, or Kalagi. It's about 32 kilometers out from the center of Kampala and 20 kilometers from Gayaza. I hope you enjoyed the ride through the countryside. If I were to carry straight on this roundabout for another hour and a half, I would actually reach the city of Jinja around a very scenic route of about 73 kilometers. But I'm going to take a right turn into the market area, the trading area, and I'm going to be in search of my Rolex. And for all my friends in UK who are thinking that I'm looking for a gold watch this morning, well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but actually I'm looking for breakfast. This morning I'm having a chapati with rolled eggs, a Rolex. The history of the Rolex is a little bit of a grey area, but from what I know, the chapati itself comes from India, and of course the Indian workers who came to Uganda in the early 1900s to build the railways, etc., would have brought the chapati with them. Of course the eggs are local to here, so it's a bit of a fusion. During the 1980s or 1990s in Kampala, it became very popular as a form of cheap food at the universities for the students. And ever since then, you will find it as a popular street food breakfast. You can even choose how many chapatis, how many eggs, if you want onions or tomatoes. This morning, I'm just going for the simple 2 eggs, 1 chapati. So I'm going to find somewhere quiet to eat my Rolex. I have it strapped to the front of my motorbike on the rack. You cannot eat these things straight from the charcoal fueled hot pans. They need a little bit of time to cool down. So I'm going to ride through a couple more villages on my way back to Mukono. Well, I found myself a good place to stop and have my Rolex this morning, just a little bit away from the main road, and to my left we have maize, and on the right it looks like they're growing a lot of saplings for palm trees, for palm oil. I remember the last time I came here they were planting these, so interesting to come back in another few months' time and see how they're getting on. Anyway, off to the Rolex. That's good, having that on the front of the motorbike's cooled it down a little bit. Usually when you get these they are even too hot to handle, so yeah, tastes nice. I don't tend to go for the ones with tomatoes or onions, just because it's an uncooked tomato and I'm not going to risk that on street food, so this is a pretty safe bet. Everything's cooked on this one. It was about 50 pence, something like that, so relatively cheap. And a good breakfast. So we've covered about 87 kilometres so far this morning. I left home at 6:30 and the time now is just before 9 o'clock. I often hear on YouTube about when people go on their adventures and they go to a place or stay in a place, they have a common courtesy, which is leave no trace. So here's my plastic from my Rolex this morning, and I'm going to pop this in my back box, dispose of that at home, and leave no trace. Join me next time as I ride through Makono's busy traffic. Have a close call with a pedestrian in front of a policeman. Nearly forget to change the batteries on my cameras. And try not to break the law back in Kampala. So thanks for coming with me on my adventure this morning. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to please like and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time on Brass Birdie Adventures. Bye for now.